Hey everyone, it's Erin with Hail Varsity. I'm joined by Greg, also of Hail Varsity, and we are here to recap another week of Nebraska football practice. We just heard from Coach Scott Frost. Just a few updates. We actually got about 5-6 minutes from Frost today. Went over a variety of topics, but to start, some exciting news, especially for you who are, well, it's exciting for everyone, but if you are a Hail Varsity subscriber, you would have received our latest issue, which featured offensive lineman Nori Newelli, who recently moved into the starting lineup for Nebraska. Wasn't on scholarship, but as we know now, has officially been put on scholarship. Frost announced that. He kind of said, they had one scholarship to work with, the last one. I know from writing that story about Nori that he had been hopeful that a scholarship was on the table for him, and it is official. He is on scholarship. So outside of that, which is the good news, let's hop into Ohio State preview. What stood out to you from what Scott Frost had to say today?
I think the word elite came up about 5 or 6 different times as Frost was talking about discussing Ohio State. They have elite coaching, they have elite talent, almost every position. In totality, they have an elite football team, right? I think that all of that being said, Nebraska
feels like
knows,
it adds up.
Yeah, it adds up, right? And Nebraska knows that they're going to have to play a really good football game to stay in this in the hope to spring the upset this Saturday against Ohio State. I think that the level of respect that Scott Frost has given to Ohio State is really the first thing that stood out to me from today.
And now I know, earlier in this week, Cam Taylor-Britt talked about how he feels Nebraska matches up with Ohio State. He was more complimentary, I'd say, of Nebraska's talent than. And I didn't see really any negative feedback on that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to the reason it was important to me is because I think sometimes when you hear from Scott Frost and he's talking about how elite Ohio State is, and then you cross that with what Cam Taylor-Britt was saying, I actually took what Cam Taylor-Britt was saying earlier in this week as well as a sign of respect. He was saying, we respect their talent quite a bit. I feel we can match up with them. That's a good attitude that you want your team to go into something. You don't want them to feel defeated before they even walk on the field that day. So, I kind of take those two things, and if somebody were to listen to them independently and go, well, the coach is saying this, player's saying this, I actually don't think they're that far from saying the same thing. It's just Cam Taylor-Britt definitely has that, he's going to tell you that... He's
going to say it with more confidence as a player is probably more likely to do. But I also think that kind of goes with one of the other themes of the week, which was that Nebraska football players seemed excited to take the challenge up, right? I think one of the ways you can sum up what Cam said, too, was that they want to show that they've got some guys, too, right? And I think that he may have actually said that. So I think that that's something that they're really excited about, and they'll definitely have a strong test come Saturday.
Yeah, the one thing that Coach Frost mentioned today as well is that Nebraska is seeing certain players growing in their leadership roles. Travis Vokalek is one who's been brought up multiple times this week. He's definitely growing. I'd say the tight end position group as a whole is one to really keep an eye on. Austin Allen is he's on pace to have one of the best tight end careers in Nebraska history. He's definitely somebody that when Sean Beckton was asked earlier in the week, could he basically go to the league after this is all said and done, this year? And obviously they don't want to say too much because you always hope maybe they'll want to return. But it seems like Sean Beckton was fully aware that that is an option and an opportunity, and that it doesn't sound like he'd be surprised if he's on to the next year.
But then I think that there is a measure of pride with that, too. I do think that it'll be a tough sell to get Austin to come back after this season with the statistical season that he's having and just how much football he's played here, right? He may just want that next challenge, and you can't blame him. But there is a level of pride for Sean Beckton in that, as he's been the guy kind of guiding him along for these last couple of years and really helped to see, in Austin's case, take his game to another level. So that's a good feather in the cap for Beckton as well.
Yeah. Now, switching to kicker really quick, Chase Contreras is going to be the kicker for Ohio State. Now, Frost did say that they don't 100% know if he sits in a major field goal, if it's
65 I think is
yards,
what
which
that's
a heck of
a long college field goal.
That is a long college field goal. He wouldn't be so confident maybe there, and they'd have to discuss it. But he does think he has a pretty good leg. And so they're gonna roll with him again. Kind of keeping that on special teams. The one area that Nebraska's going to have to be very careful with against Ohio State is that Ohio State special teams is operating much more efficiently than Nebraska. So when Nebraska has an 11-yard punt return, and that is the longest of the season against Purdue, Penn State. Who is Nebraska even playing anymore? Ohio State. I was thinking of Penn State, Ohio State from last week. My brain just went went to a different game. But Ohio State definitely has a strong special teams unit, so that's something that's going to be an interesting dynamic for Nebraska. Also, the turnover margin between the two teams is very drastically different, so like turnovers are going to have to be something Nebraska keeps. It's going to have to be.
And it's one of those things, too, that has been a recent, because of the 4-interception game last week, it feels like a recent trend in the wrong direction. So you hope that that is not something that continues against a team that when you're stepping up to another level of competition against Ohio State.
Now, Nebraska has limited some of the best offenses it's faced this season as a defense. Will Nebraska do that on Saturday against Ohio State? Well, you sure hope so. You hope that Nebraska doesn't come out like it did against Minnesota, but it's all a lot of what ifs at this point. So I guess we'll kind of find out what this Nebraska team is all about. Yeah. We've been saying this every video. Every week is a test.
Every week is a test. We have to say that every week as well. I like it.
This week is a test.
It's a test.
It is. I do feel like you can rise to the occasion, or you can fall in those type of moments. So we'll find out what Nebraska does. I know you all feel a lot of things with this game, which you're welcome to leave in the comment section here on this YouTube video. We do appreciate hearing from you. We do appreciate the conversation, even when maybe you don't necessarily always agree with what we're saying, even though a lot of it is just repeating to you what we've just heard. Right. But like we totally get it. We totally respect it. Heading into these last 3 games, there's a lot on the line.
Yes.
I mean, even Coach Frost made a comment about how does he need to he was asked does he need to have conversations with his team about outside noise, and he said, no, they're just staying focused on the task at hand. But
there's always pressure at Nebraska.
There's always pressure at Nebraska, but at the same time, it's obviously something that is on their minds, and so we will see ultimately what this team is all about on Saturday. Now you're going to tell me what about every week? We every week.
Because they're all tests. We've seen what those grades have been as we've gone along.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing is this team has talent. This team certainly has put itself in positions more times than not to win. So what does that look like against Ohio State?
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, we appreciate you as always. Like I said, if you want to continue this conversation, we always welcome comments, questions here on YouTube. So you are welcome to chime in. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, we will be back with even more. Now, just a little housekeeping. Next week is a second bye week, so that will change some of these videos for 1 week. So I know how much you'll miss Greg and I recapping all of this for you. Don't miss us too much.
Well, try not to.
We'll talk to you later.